I think there's two issues. I think issue number one is what makes something Jewish? I think that's a complicated question, but I think Jews having opinions on things don't make those opinions Jewish. That probably wasn't proper English, but everything that Jews create is not necessarily Jewish. Every opinion that a Jew has is not necessarily a Jewish opinion. Every piece of literature that a Jew writes is not necessarily Jewish literature. So when we talk about Jewish creativity, to me, part of that needs to be wrestling with our tradition. I think any Jewish organization that isn't consumed with wrestling with our tradition, I think we have to question why we're calling that a Jewish organization. I think when organizations make decisions, they have to wrestle with what quality makes that a Jewish decision. And I think we have to be grounded to do that in Jewish knowledge, in Jewish texts. I mean, when we make decisions here at JFN, we're looking to the tradition to say, is this something that the tradition informs? Are we going the right way? Are we going the wrong way? And if Judaism isn't occasionally telling you to stop or telling you you can't do what you want to do, you're either not being honest enough or you're not looking hard enough, because Judaism just shouldn't be a license to do anything you want and attach a verse to it. It has to sometimes stop you from doing things too, or you're not being tough enough on yourself or true enough to the tradition. In terms of creativity, look, I think there's a lot of creativity in the Jewish community. I think most of it dies before it ever sees the light of day, because I think one of the things our community has gotten very bad at is risk-taking. I don't think Jewish institutions in general take enough risks, and I don't think we reward Jewish professionals for taking risks. I think we're far too focused on numbers, whether those numbers are dollars you bring in or people at a program, and we don't reward professionals for taking risks. We give a lot of lip service. Boy, oh boy, is there something we love to talk about, how we're risk takers in Jewish life, but we're not. Taking risks means that you're going to fail. That's just the percentages. There's no way that that's not going to happen. We bring foundation professionals together several times a year, and I remember asking a group, tell me about your failed grants this year, the grants that you tried to do, the project didn't work out. And one person said to me very proudly, oh, none of our grants failed. And I said, well, you shouldn't be proud of that. If none of your grants failed, I can't imagine you're doing anything risky or creative enough. Some of your grants should be failing, and some of our projects should be failing. We fail constantly here. We try things, we make mistakes, and we try something else. And if you're not doing that, then you're not going to end up doing interesting things in your personal life or in your professional life. When I started at JFN, I used to work for Charles Bronfman at his foundation. And I remember I came up with this whole business plan of what I was going to do with the Jewish Funders Network. And I showed it to Charles, and he spent quite a bit of time. He's been very generous with his time. And he's a smart guy. He's run a lot of businesses. And he said to me, you know what, Mark, the plan looks great, and I'm behind you 100%. He says, but I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. A year from now, you're going to look at this plan, and you're going to realize one of those areas that you thought was brilliant makes absolutely no sense. Because either the market doesn't respond to it, or you're not as good at it as you thought you would be. He says 99 people out of 100 are going to press ahead anyway, because that's what they told people they were going to do, and that's what the board of directors agreed to, and they don't want to embarrass themselves by saying they were wrong. Be that one person that drops that area, that admits you made a mistake, didn't turn out the way you thought it would turn out, and take a new tack. That'll carve you out from the pack. It was the best piece of advice anyone gave me as someone who was just starting to kind of run their own not-for-profit. I think unless we can say there's nothing wrong with making mistakes, there's nothing wrong with failure, that's how we learn, that's how we do things that are creative, we'll be doomed to mediocrity.